Welcome back. Massive change. Artificial intelligence could be brewing, with tech giant Elon Musk making waves in the AI community. After co-founding the company OpenAI, Musk is launching a new venture called XAI that is looking to, quote, understand reality. Musk spoke about the technology during a Twitter Spaces event, mentioning China's potential interest in creating an international framework to regulate artificial intelligence. Let's bring in the technology policy reporter over at The Hill, Rebecca Klar, joining us once again. Rebecca, we're going to leave this to China. I mean, Elon Musk is controversial enough, right? So when you talk about China and a potential AI regulatory framework, how's that going to go over with Congress and policymakers here in Washington?
Right. I think that, what we're seeing in terms of Congress is there doesn't necessarily seem to be a clear, broad bipartisan consensus in how they want to regulate AI, but it seems to be a pretty broad bipartisan consensus that they want to do it in a way where we remain competitive on a global scale and where we're trying to get ahead of China on this. So I definitely think what Elon Musk said seems to be a bit different from what members of Congress of both parties are saying.
Elon Musk, by the way, recent poll, his favorability rating, 45% of the country views him favorably, 45% of the country views him unfavorably, well underwater with Democrats, well above water with Republicans. It's an interesting breakdown. Some news today, Rebecca, from Chuck Schumer. Here's what he said. He tweeted out, quote, "The Senate will hold our third all-senators briefing on AI. Later this month, we'll hear from federal researchers and developers about where AI is headed in the years to come and how it will continue to change our world." That from the top Democrat in the Senate. It seems like, Rebecca, that there's real bipartisan efforts to try to get out ahead of AI, maybe much more so than Congress was with social media way back when.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely sort of a bipartisan consensus, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, whether they're coming from the same concerns or different concerns, that they don't want to have a repeat of what happened with social media, where they feel they're behind now on a number of measures and risks that the social media giants have posed. I think, senators that left the classified briefing earlier this week on AI really seem to be raising similar concerns, but I think what still is yet to be decided is where those battle lines are going to fall and what sort of legislative package they may come up with to deal with some of the risks. I think especially what we've heard from Republicans is a concern that they don't want to have regulation, interfere with any sort of innovation. And I think what Democrats in Congress, as well as what the Biden administration has been saying, is this line that they think that we can have both innovation and regulation at the same time.
Hey, Rebecca, it's your colleague, Alex. So on AI, obviously, we've been covering this, and the White House seems like they're in kind of an exploratory phase of we're looking at the risks and also the benefits of what could come out of this. What do you think they are on that phase? Do you think there's enough information gathered at this point between Congress and the White House to figure out some guardrails, or are they still in this, we're just trying to figure out what AI is, first of all?
Right. So it seems both a bit from the administration and from Congress that they're really leaning heavily on wanting to hear from the experts and sort of examine all of the risks and see what they want to do in terms of regulation. I think that what some advocates are warning is that the U.S. may be getting behind what other regulators are doing globally, whether in Europe or other countries, and how that might really impact how AI advances in the U.S.
Max, real quick, when you look at these Elon Musk favorability ratings, he only has a 28% favorability rating with Democrats. What's up? I mean, this guy's like trying to save the planet. I thought that was green energy policy that Democrats like and want and push.
Yeah, how quickly some fall. His alignment on Twitter with far-right policies.
This is all about Twitter?
This is 100% about Twitter. It's startling how quickly the numbers have gone down. And I would say that political divide right there is 100% the reason why Thread is doing so well right now.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.